We can all be on a marathon high or low depending on how our race went, and often people lose a bit of focus post-race. So, in order to springboard off your last training block and make that training really count, here's my list of avoidable mistakes that can help us all move forward. So we all want to use that speed endurance that we've built up throughout that marathon training block, and of course there are so many pitfalls that we can all fall into, so let's all do our best to avoid them. I'm going to give you a list of 6 things that I think are really going to help you and myself move into our summer training, whatever that might be, in the best shape possible. So if you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Let's dive in to number 1. So keeping our mind sharp is key. Have a new focus ready for the summer, have a new goal race, have a new something to allow you to focus and pivot that attention on to that. At the end of the day, when we are finished with marathon training, we understand and realize right then and there how much time marathon training has consumed, and it has been such a big part of our lives, and it can feel like a big void is missing. Been there, done it, totally understand, and I hear the same from a lot of you guys. So what I've learned over the years is to kind of be one step ahead and have that goal, that next race, that next training block planned out in your head before the marathon finishes. And of course, I have mine planned already. If you don't, now's the time to start thinking about it. What do you want to train for in the summer? What do you want to really focus on? Is it another marathon block, or is it some shorter distance work, or is it a completely different challenge altogether? Whatever it might be, now's the time to start thinking about it. What that inevitably does is start getting us out of that post-marathon slump and that kind of feeling of, well, where's the purpose gone? Why am I still running? What's my next goal? Well, I want to maybe run London, let's say, or another big event next year, but what am I going to do in the meantime? Trust me, if you want to be bigger, better and faster for next year, now's the time to capitalize on all that fitness you've built throughout your marathon training block. And number 2 is a really key one. Just don't rush back. Take your time. Again, I think what a lot of people do post-marathon is really worry that they're going to lose a lot of fitness. A lot of us are sore, stiff, frustrated post-marathon, as I've just said, because that big void is now in our life where marathon training once filled it. And I think at this point, it's very easy to become too eager and to get back into running. I myself love to take a week off post-marathon. It's something that I've adopted over the last few marathons. Make sure I have a full 7 days. Trust me, maybe I should be taking more time off. And I know a lot of you guys do a really good and take maybe 10 days to 2 weeks off. But I know a lot of people like to get straight back into the swing of things literally within a few days of the marathon. Now, I do advocate going out for a nice 30-minute jog the day after the marathon, just to kind of shake the legs out and, you know, get rid of some of that stiffness. You end up starting with a bit of a shuffle. And it's not uncommon for people to start walking and then burst into a run as they go, just to let the legs loosen up. But then make sure you have a good block of time off, because obviously we do want to keep our mind sharp, but understanding that we're not going to lose a ton of fitness in 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks. We're just not. We're going to feel a bit rusty when we come back. But our bodies have been through the ringer. They have been through so much over the past few months. Training, mental load, worrying, thinking about what we're going to eat, how we're going to, what our racing strategy is, fueling, everything that goes on. It is our body and life is consumed by the marathon. So making sure that we are not too overeager to jump straight back into it, allowing our body to have a complete reset. Push the reset button, allow it to completely recover before going again is absolutely key. Quick tip for number 3, if you are enjoying a bit of time off, make sure you focus on other aspects of your life. Make sure you focus on other things. Allow your body, again, whilst you are resting and recovering, to just let your mind wander. Let it go and enjoy something else, whether that's having more time with family, whether that's enjoying another sport, whether that's just getting out there and doing something completely different. Just allow yourself to do it, because again, I think it's really healthy to just let our bodies completely reset, drift away from running for a short period of time. We've got that focus, we've got that goal in our mind, we know what we're going to achieve in the summer. We've talked about that in point 1. Right now is a good time to just kind of let everything just kind of drift to the back of our minds for the moment and go and enjoy something else. What we find is if we stack block after block after block after block with no rest in between and no mental rest, we can really end up in a massive mental burnout. We always talk about consistency is key, and we do want to stack these training blocks up and up and up, but it's so key after these training blocks to rest and reset and go again. This is all part of the growing process. We all hear that when we do sessions and when we're running hard and we do those key workouts that are going to make us faster, the important bit is then the recovery afterwards, and there's no more important time now than when we're recovering after a full 12, 16, 20 week training block. Go and enjoy other aspects of life, go and do something else. Tip number 4, go and book in a massage. Go and iron everything out. Go and flush the system from the marathon. As I said, a good 30-minute run. I'll be honest with you, after this marathon, I didn't actually do this. So hands up, I should have done, but I have in the past, and I do find it really beneficial. Once we've done that nice 30-minute run post-marathon, the day after, we're still going to be sore. We're still going to have knots in our muscles probably. We're going to be tight, we're going to be stiff. Go and get the mind out. If you want to be prepared and get ready, again, it massively helps kind of with that mental reset. We've built up over the 16-week block, 12-week block, whatever you've done. You've gone and hit that race hard. You're feeling a bit stiff, tired, but you know you've got these summer goals that you want to hit. Go and allow yourself, within that time off, to flush the system. Get a massage, feel good, let the body relax before you start to build again. And number 5, avoid coming back with too much intensity. Again, this is a really common mistake that a lot of people make. They're so eager to get back into high intensity training as soon as possible, and it's just not going to work for you. It really isn't. In the long term, it's just going to cause destruction and damage to your body. You need to respect what you've just been through, whether it's just the race or the training block itself, and you need to come back with a relative ease. Like for me, just as an example, and everyone's different, and my way might be wrong as well, but for me, I always make sure I do the first week fully easy. So I've had a week off, I'm now in my easy week. Post that, I'll make sure I do some kind of easy and steady running, trying to keep everything in sort of like zone 1, zone 2. And then the week after that, I'll start to throw in, start to do my first workout. So literally the first 2 weeks for me are always very easy, very relaxed, nothing crazy, and just getting the body used to that routine again, getting that consistency back, gently building that volume back up, ready to handle it. What a lot of people do, and I see so much of, is in their first week back, they might have done all the right things in that week off that they've had, or 10 days, but then in that first week back, they're straight back into their normal routine with 2 workouts in a week and whatever. Those muscles are still fatigued, and it does take a while for everything to fully settle down. So do respect that. Do make sure when you come back, again, you factor in that period of time when you can make sure you run easy. And if you've got some races in there, make sure you don't make them goal races. Just go and have some fun. I've got some races before I start my next training block, but I'm certainly going to make sure that they're just a line in the sand. Go out there, have a bit of fun, run hard, but make sure I run within myself to ensure that I don't push too hard. And the final one, number 6, I really want to hammer this one home. Think back through your marathon training block, think back through the race. Did you have any niggles? Did you have any weak areas? Did you have any weak spots throughout your training block that constantly caused any issues? For a lot of us, we're really lucky. We can get through marathon training feeling good and strong and fit, get through the race and then roll, take a sensible recovery and roll into the next training block. For people like myself, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, you will have found that throughout the marathon training block, there might have been niggles that have popped up that you had to manage. Maybe it just popped up in the race. Whatever it might be, this is the time to sit back, assess what you've done, assess where those niggles are, and put a plan in place right now before you start that next training block as to how you're going to combat that for the next marathon or the next race. So give you a good example. For me, it's all in my right side, right ankle, right glute, right shoulder. These are all problem areas for me. Throughout the marathon training block and my marathon itself, my right glute in particular popped up a few times with some niggles. Nothing crazy, nothing that stopped me logging the miles, something that just made me aware, there's a weakness there. I've had it since I can remember, and that's just from previous injuries prior to me starting running, and it always has been a weak spot. So I addressed that throughout my last training block because I did this analysis and I put in strength training and core work, and it really, really helped get through the training block with just them being niggles rather than an actual injury, which in the past has held me back. But again, I know it's still there. I know that I didn't completely fix the issue, and I know this is going to be a long game. So more plans are going in place to work on that, to strengthen that area, and to make sure that those niggles over time become less and less and less. And I can't stress that enough to you guys. I hear so many reports of, oh, I've got 3, 4, 5 weeks into marathon training and injury occurs, and that's your race over. It's so frustrating. It happens to the best of us, and you completely have my sympathy. Now is the time right now to get on top of that, address it, and deal with it ready for the next training block. So we have a new focus, we have good rest in place, we have coming back with some nice easy running, and in that process of resting, we are mentally checking out and enjoying other aspects of life. We're getting a good massage, a good flush, and we're addressing those niggles that popped up in the previous block. All of those things combined are going to be a recipe for success for you guys leading into your next training block. Of course, if I've missed anything, I'd love to hear from you what you think the biggest mistakes are post-marathon for everyone out there watching. Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure everybody else would love to read them. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.